Welcome to this fifth presentation on the management project, which discusses the relationship with your academic mentor. Your mentors will be appointed after you have submitted your project registration form. If you remember from the first presentation, the project registration form is a title of the management project that you are proposing. From that, the team will select an academic mentor who best fits your area. It will be an academic that makes that decision. You will be notified by the MBA operations team of the contact details of your academic mentor. It is your responsibility to contact your academic mentor in the first instance. We renamed the role from supervisor to academic mentor because we felt in certain instances it gave the wrong impression. Supervisor, under certain circumstances, implies there is somebody looking over your shoulder, looking at everything that you do. So an academic mentor, for example, won't proofread. The idea of the academic mentor is to ensure that your management project is optimally structured and to also ensure that you are keeping within the bounds of the requirements. So they will advise, and the operative word here is advise. It's your decisions that drive this process. So they will comment on the viability of your proposal. So, for example, what literature is available, how are you going to get your data? They will guide you on aspects of your intervention question, your literature, your methodology, your data collection, analysis, and what your contribution to practice is going to be. Your academic mentor is responsible for guiding you in the principles of good scholarship. You are responsible for providing and populating an appropriate project with the detail required. The relationship is one of co-creation. So you provide what I refer to as the material of the tent, so to speak, and the academic mentor provides the frame around which you provide the content. There are various stages to your management project at which you must contact your academic mentor. The first is when you've received notification who your academic mentor is. Follow it up with an email. Secondly, as you complete your proposal to gain ethical approval. For feedback on your literature review, your methodology, for feedback on your data analysis, for your first draft, and for feedback on your last draft, and at least 2 weeks before your submission date. Do bear in mind that your academic mentor will probably be dealing with a number of different participants from a number of different programs, all with similar deadlines. So you must manage your academic mentor in order that you gain the most out of the advice that they're going to provide for you. This is a repeat of a previous slide which has been in another presentation. The stage gates that I've gone through on the previous slide are now made more clear in terms of the project proposal, the ethics submission, the introduction to the first chapter, the literature review, the discussion results, analysis chapter, and final draft. You provided these for an estimated date of completion, and within the monthly reports that you provide to your academic mentor, you will also record the actual date so we can see that any slippage that is happening and also what you need to do in order to accelerate their process in order to get back in on time so you're not leaving it for a rushed submission right at the end. So each of these gates will be effectively granted to you. So having submitted your project proposal, your academic mentor should tell you that that's gate 1. When you succeeded with your ethics submission, that can be gate 2, and so on and so forth. So over time, we build up a rich picture of where you are in the process. And it also makes it easier for you and your academic mentor to synchronize where you are within the process. It is highly recommended that you send an agenda for every meeting. It's just 2 or 3 lines. It gives you an idea of and focuses your mind as to what you need to know, what you need to talk about. Secondly, once you've had the meeting, is to provide some brief decisions, brief minutes of decisions made and action points. In that way, you'll be able to work closely with your academic mentor. They will be able to provide the relevant guide and advice as and when it's required by you. The worst is when, for whatever reason, the two become asynchronous and the process is more difficult to track. So regular contact with your academic mentor is imperative. Don't leave it until 2 weeks before the deadline. It is your responsibility to establish and maintain that contact with your academic mentor and to provide progress reports. The role of the academic mentor is analogous to a sports coach. So whilst it is your own work, the mentor can coach and offer advice in order to improve your performance. Finally, within this particular slide, your academic mentor will not give you an indication of your mark. It may be that at the beginning of the process, you have a talk with your academic mentor in terms of your expectations. It may be that you're on for a distinction. It may be that you're on for a merit. It may be, and I've had all three, that you've decided just get me past the post and let me finish my MBA. But that conversation needs to happen at the beginning, but it only needs to happen once. The best way of contacting your academic mentor is usually, but not exclusively, via email. Meetings can be scheduled by Skype, for example. That's probably the best way when misunderstandings can happen on email, and these are better done over the phone where the conversation is more complex and you can reduce the number of issues in that particular way. If for some reason you're having difficulty getting in contact with your mentor, what you need to do is contact the MBA operations team, who will then, on your behalf, contact the academic mentor. It may be that they are away on conference, it may be they are away on holiday, or it may be that they are not well and not at work and unable to be contacted. But in either case, the MBA operations team will find out for you. If this situation persists, the ops team will escalate to the director of studies. So normally after kind of 2 or 3 days, if you haven't had some sort of response, then to the operations team, and after a week, if the ops team haven't got back to you, get back in contact with the ops team. And the escalation process is internal. It's not initiated by the participant. It's usually the ops team that will escalate to the MBA director. So really, it's in your own interest to work closely with mentors at all stages of the project life cycle, from design through to writing and finalising the report. Just to emphasise that mentors do work in different ways, and comparisons are fairly meaningless in the sense that some might prefer to do email more than telephone and so on and so forth. But do be aware that there is no prescription from the university as to how mentors engage with participants. But if your expectations are not being met, do raise them. By the same virtue, from an academic's perspective, the worst thing that you can do is to drop a brick on their shoes. That is to say, at the last minute say, "Hi, you haven't heard from me for 6 months. Here's a 15,000 word project that I've prepared. Can you get back to me by 5 o'clock?" So really it's about a close relationship. I suggest that you keep your contacts short but sweet. Just remind them that they are there. Do bear in mind that they will be an academic mentor for a number of different individuals, and I have to be honest, sometimes we do get confused, and it's just a little reminder about what your project is, what your project's about, and it will help them and it will also help you. It's about managing your mentor. Finally, thank you for watching this presentation on the MBA project Academic Mentor.